PJNET Live second half. Late start. Had some technical problems in our earlier segment, so we're starting a little late. We have Dell in the green room. We have a background. We have his bumper rolling. Everything is ready to go. We'll switch to Studio 6 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back for those of you at the PJNET chat room at patriotjournalist.com, soon to become pjnet.tv. Been working on that today. Call me later if you want to know more about it. I'll be up all night. Behind me you will see a very special event. Now I realize that most of you that see this will probably not be able to attend. But everyone that sees this will benefit from knowing the story behind that event. And to bring us that story, we have Sophie and Dell. Sophie, you're back on PJNET Live. Have you played basketball since we last spoke?
Yeah.
Okay. Since we last spoke, do you like school now? Kinda. See, we're getting better all the time. Well, Sophie, listen. Nobody likes school while they're in it. But trust me, when you get Grandpa's age, you'll know that it was a good thing. So you played basketball again. Did you manage to score any points this time?
A lot.
How many points did you score, Sophie?
12 points and 6 baskets.
She got a career high.
12 points, 6 baskets.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Sophie, you are awesome. You are going to be the next superstar in basketball from the sounds of it if you make good grades.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You know, and any time that you are late getting your homework done, just go see Grandpa and get him to help you. He'll do it for you. He told me earlier. Okay. But if you want to get a good grade, you need to help him help.
I know.
Sophie,
The last time, this time on basketball, I thought I was only going to make 4, but instead I made 6.
Mm-hmm.
6 baskets altogether. 6.
She got hot.
I tell you, you have found it, girl. You can play baseball too, you know, softball, baseball, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows?
Too, so.
And you can play football and become a football coach.
Ooh,
you can be a football coach. Yeah, you can. You would be the second.
Yeah.
Sophie, we love you, honey, and I know that I hope you score even more next time, but if you don't, we're still really, really, really proud of you. We really are.
Well, good night.
Good night.
You gotta she has to get to bed. Good night.
Yeah, we're late getting started. She gets to stay up late.
She steals the show.
She can come.
I know. I get good ratings.
Well, Dell, a couple things before we get into I would say your blog, but the blog that you have at DellDidway.com, which I'll put that on the screen because if you're new here and you hear us saying Dell Didway, you may be wondering, how do you spell that? Well, that's how you spell it. It certainly isn't how it sounds, but that is how you spell it. I'm a little jealous. You do a little selfie promo this morning, and it's soaring past 300 views. I do this professional one in the studio with pictures and all this fancy stuff, and mine just goes thud because you have sucked all the air out of the room.
I don't know. I get it in early, so people get tired of seeing it.
I don't know where you're posting that thing or what you're doing, but you are. But thank you for doing that because it really helps build interest. And you know, we've got a chat room full of people. And your blog today, I've already spoken to 2 men both of which said they were really tearing up reading your. I'm going to continue to call it your blog, but go ahead and tell the story. You didn't
Yeah.
actually write that.
No, I didn't write this one. It just happens to be on my blog. I have a guest blogger for this only the second time. I've only done this twice in like 4 years, so I've got like 200 some blogs. So I had Becky Lindsay did a blog for me a couple years ago, and then Angie kind of had an idea for this one. I said, "Well, sure, go right ahead." And
Now, Angie is your wife.
that's my wife, yeah. So she wrote a post because this was it was 5 years ago today, actually 5 years ago today, that our sister-in-law passed from her third bout with cancer, and so she kind of updated what's been going on for the last 5 years, and so that's kind of how that went. It was just updating Dee Dee on all the happenings that she's not missed out on, but Angie just sent her just a little letter. So a lot going on in our life, obviously, and everybody's lives. So the Big Benefit Sings coming up at the end of the month too. That they do every year to raise money for her foundation to give the scholarships to local high school kids. So that's always a big deal, and it's always well attended. And if you're a Southern gospel music fan, which is big in this area. I mean, we have probably the biggest name in Southern gospel music coming again. She comes every year. This show's Karen Peck, and she's awesome. She wrote an endorsement for my book, and knows the family pretty well. So that's what Angie had an idea about that, and kind of pay tribute. Send a little note to Dee Dee to let her know what's going on back here.
It was very moving, just in the sentiment, and that was in there, and actually her writing style is quite good, because each paragraph, says, "But we miss you, we miss you, we miss you," and so I could see that there's some craft in her penmanship, but most of us have not gone through anything like that, but yet in reading that blog, I began reflecting, and it's part of what drives me to this day, but it made me reflect upon. When my grandmother died, we went to a funeral home where a funeral home preacher, I guess, for lack of a better word, tried to do a eulogy about someone he didn't know. It was attended by myself and a few other immediate family members, maybe 12 altogether. And I was very young at the time. I was still perhaps a teenager. And I thought to myself, what a waste that you could live your entire life and that's it. A funeral home staff preacher that says everybody that knew her life speaks for her itself. That's because he didn't know.
Right.
It was so that was very early in my life. And as we get kind of in the fourth quarter, I'm driven by, what difference would it make, or will it have made, that I was here? And I think there's a message in that blog for everybody that Dee Dee's life stood for something, and her life continues to make a difference.
Well, yeah, she still has a big impact, obviously, because her story was tracked and it was well followed all over the state of Ohio. And it didn't start out that way. It just got legs and took off because she had this boldness about her that she was going to be healed. So kind of caught wind, caught fire, spread. People followed it, and she got messages from Urban Meyer, the Ohio State football, the former Ohio State football coach. She got a message from Big Daddy Weave. It's from Mike Weaver. Big Daddy Weave sent her a note, and Urban Meyer sent her a note. And so it kind of became bigger than life almost, that she had this faith that people were attracted to. And again, we talked about that. People like with Tim Tebow, they liked the message. And Dee Dee's message was of hope and encouragement and inspiration. So people latch on to that. And so it kind of spread, and people were watching it. Thousands of people followed her story. And then when she passed, a lot of people were kind of devastated and questioned, and so they had to find their way back, and so they followed her example. to have her type of a faith. So that's what that was about. And again, her legacy is still strong here, still strong in the area. And what she did inspires people, and again, her life, her death, kind of launched what I'm doing because I wrote about it, and I'd never written a manuscript before, so I wrote about this experience, and so to kind of blossom that, and that now I'm, 5 books out, 3 more this year, 3 more next year. I'm an agent now, and no, I don't know, I don't know if that would have happened, but certainly I probably wouldn't have had I not written about her legacy. So kind of launched that too. So the impact you have on people's lives and everything you do, we don't know what's going to happen, but just live your life, be determined, be dedicated to what you do, and people watch that and people learn from it. So, but yeah, Angie's blog was very well written. It was kind of good because I was kind of blank. I didn't have anything. So it kind of filled that need and turned out to be probably the best thing out there.
Her idea or your idea?
It was her idea, and she said over the weekend, she says, "I have a blog idea," and I said, well, "Okay, that's fine." It turned out well. So it was her idea, good timing, well written. Didn't put any pictures, so I didn't think it warranted pictures. Sometimes. Yeah, I just wanted the message to be out there, without pictures. So I found the little flyer, took a picture of the flyer, and put it on the top. So that's to promote that event too, because that'll be a big deal here again.
Dell, I picked up and zeroed in on. You say that Dee Dee was very influential in launching your writing, and you didn't say career. You said writing ministry.
Yeah, I don't consider it a career. I do consider it that. I do consider it my ministry because I've sought for a long time. But I thought I was called to do something. I didn't know what. And so I think a career, you have to make a lot of money. I'm not doing that. So that's what I consider it to be because everybody has something to do, and this is my. I believe it's my calling. So all the doors are opening up. When I met Kyle, I remember the first time we kind of prayed together, and I said that I wanted to have a writing ministry, and then it just opened up. And he said, you prayed for it, you got it. And so because after that, it just took off. And so I've had my mouth around a fire hydrant for the last 3 or 4 years, but it's been good.
Over and over, as I've attended 2 conferences and listened in on several keynotes delivered, as well as listened to several people who were there as attendees. And I hear it over and over again that the calling to be a Christian writer is exactly that. It's a calling, and writing the book and selling the book is a matter of obedience more so than seeking than a business.
Yes, it's more than obedience too. It's a lot of hard work to market your book and get people to buy it. And and all my friends, Michelle and Kyle, they enjoy the money part of it, but that's not the main reason. And Andy Clapp will tell you that he's not in it to make money. That's nice. If we do, hey, that's extra. So it's all about trying to be an encouragement, try to inspire people, try to show them the way, because in all my books we give a path. If you're not a believer, well, then here's how you can be one. If these books and these chapters have inspired you or convicted you, then here's the next step you need to take. So it's our form of ministry. Some people sing, some people preach, which is fantastic. I can't do either. And some people are teachers and bus drivers. So, I have this. So, and I work hard at it, probably harder than a lot of folks do. So, but, doors are opening up for us. We're now, I think 2 weeks ago, I said I am now an agent with Kyle. And we've just been flooded with the last 2 weeks with submissions, people sending us emails. They want me to look at their stuff. And I got, I'm like, I was on the phone with Kyle today. I said, man, this is crazy. So I'm taking classes. So I'm about ready to sign my first client probably this week. And I'm excited about that. In fact, she's down close to you. She's down there in Tampa. And, I'm going to probably get one or two. I'm not going to sign a bunch of people off the bat and then fall on my face. I'm going to get one or two off and get them going well. Then, take baby steps. But we've got a lot of conferences we're going to already. We're signing up for conferences. We got into 2 conferences this week that Kyle said, good luck. He said they're probably closed. I made the call. I said, you got room for one more agent? Well, sure we do. Come on up. Great. So we're going to Canada. We're going to Chicago, New York, North Carolina.
You've been to Canada before?
It was a long time ago. I've been in Niagara Falls, but I never.
Okay.
This is going to be in Windsor, right across from Detroit.
Okay, let me just tell you something. When you go to Canada, leave your Second Amendment home, okay?
I've heard that. Yeah,
they are.
We're all going to be right across from Detroit, which is the same thing. That's almost a bit more country anymore. But Kyle's going with me, so we're going to have a good time up there.
I wonder if anybody is watching this. I see the chat room is well populated, but the State of the Union address is streaming as
on my phone right now.
as we are streaming, and I have gotten word from. I errantly referred to Barbara Sunbelt Girl as her title being that of assistant producer. She is associate producer, folks. Let's correct that. I stand corrected. But when I go to these conferences and I see people pursuing this, one thing that I would share with the struggling writer or struggling anything is financial success, in my view. And I guess I'm seeking on a scale of 1 to 10 how much you agree or not. I consider financial success a parenthetical byproduct of doing a thing well. And it concerns me when people are doing things for the money. I don't want our police officers doing it for the money. I don't want our teachers doing it for the money. You see where I'm going with this?
Mm-hmm. Right. Oh, yeah. Totally agree. And every Christian writer you talk to will tell you that you're not. You go into this thinking you're not going to get that $40,000 advance, and you're not going to get set for life, because it's probably not going to happen. You're doing it because of a calling. You're doing it because you feel the need to, and you do it because you want to. And then if that stuff happens, then that's fantastic. So we tell them right up front, hey, I'm not saying it won't happen, but if you're in it for this reason, then you probably need to re-examine yourself. And that's not to say your work's not good, but you got to have a different motive. Now, if you're in the general market, yeah, I get it. You want to go out there and you want to get that big advance. You want to become a best-selling author. So, and I'll be in both markets. So, yeah, but the conferences we go to, you've been to, the one we're going to here in a couple of weeks, they're just full of people who have something to give back, and they want to do something, and they feel a calling and a ministry. So, that's why most of them have jobs. Most of them have either full-time jobs that they do this on the side, or they have a spouse who's very fortunate and blessed that they can take some time off and do this. And so, again, it's not something. It's not a lucrative. I mean, they see us jetting all over the place and winning these awards and stuff, but it's not fancy schmancy. I mean, it may look that way, but it's not.
Well, and I certainly wouldn't want any Christian author wordsmithing their writing to appeal to an audience to sell the book. Now, in the general market, you can probably get away with that, but when you're writing a Christian book, that needs to pour out, from your heart, and whether it sells or not. I have, we've struggled, here on PJNET Live, and I've just had to look in my own heart and say, I'm doing what I believe that God wants me to do and has equipped me to do, and if nobody watches, I will continue doing it anyway. And when you get to that point, God has really blessed us, Dell. I mean, we're just starting to see the fruit We've been doing this about a year now, you and I, and we are, gosh, when we started, good luck getting 300 views on anything, no matter what you did.
Yeah, and I think it's I think God wants to see you're in for the right reason and in for the long haul. Because if it was all this stuff right off the bat, then it kind of dies off and you get discouraged. So you just have to keep going along, and I'll keep writing books, and as long as we can get them published, and if we can, I'll self-publish them. But right now, things are going well because we're doing the right things. We're following the right advice, and we're doing it for the right reasons. So I think once you do that, and again, if great things happen, then that's wonderful. But if they don't, you still keep with it. I mean, I've met these conferences, folks who've been 2 or 3 years trying to get something published because they want to. They feel they have to, so they keep doing it. I mean, authors are kind of different people. They're going to get they're going to get told no a lot of times, and they have to. They can't take it personally. You just have to keep going because they're going to get that yes eventually.
Del, maybe it hadn't been long enough, but tell me how different it feels when you are now receiving the submissions as opposed to sending them.
It's kind of overwhelming, really, because it's a lot of responsibility. Folks I don't know want me to look at the work, and then I decide. Then I kind of say this is good enough or this is good enough. So, you need to maybe work on this. So it's going to take me a little bit of. I'm going to have to watch my humility a little bit, not get bigger than I think I am, not get arrogant about it, but do it with the right. It's hard to try to help these people because they had the same goal I did, So you got to look at it that way and say, what would I want my agent to look at this, and what would I want him to do? And so that's how I talked to this gal last week and this week, who almost sent a contract to. I said, look, I'm gonna work hard because I'm been where you are. And so I'm always going to remember that, and I'm always going to look at these things, and with that attitude, like I want, I don't want my email ignored, I don't want my submission ignored, so I'm going to look at it, and I'm going to give them advice, I'm going to give them feedback, and follow the guidelines Kyle gave me, and say this is what you got to do, and this is what you got to tell them, and if they send this back properly, say and then we'll look at it and we'll see if it's a good fit. May not be a good fit. I mean, we had a long talk there. He said, "Don't take on your friends right away because that could cause some problems." So we're going to look at that. We're going to look at a lot of things and then try to handle it diplomatically. But if it is a good fit, yeah, sure. But if it's not, I'm not going to say, "Yeah, you're my friend. I'm going to represent you." So that's not going to be the case. It's going to be is a good fit for both of us. Will I be of asset, or will somebody else be a better fit? And that's what it's going to be about. But it's a little overwhelming, right? Not overwhelming, but it's a little daunting right now that I got to look at these submissions.
Well. For the second time tonight, we have had this happen. I was about to wind it up anyway, but I'm going to restart the session in case he jumps in. I did have one. Oh, there he is. I did have one more question for you because I guess we need to wrap it up pretty soon. But okay. Del, you have used the word overwhelmed repeatedly tonight, and I'm trying to connect with when you've got all these submissions that you have to read. You have to mentally engage each one. I can see the first one getting better attention than the second, and the second getting better attention than the third. Is that the case? How do you maintain that same openness and responsiveness when you've already read 8 and you got to get 10 in, to find, how do you deal with that?
Well, what I've done, I've read 2, and a proposal is not short. A good book proposal is going to be, 30, 40, 50 pages long. So, So what I've done with the ones I haven't looked at yet, I've sent them an email. Hey, I got it. Thank you. Be patient. I'll get to it, but I won't let it go. I won't forget about it. So, it's kind of, you have to look at it, you got to read it, you got to say, if I was sending this in. So yeah, they're a good proposal is not going to be 3 or 4 pages. It's going to be numerous pages with a good outline and with a good. The main thing I'm looking for is marketing plan, how you going to sell this thing, and your platform, and is there a good hook? Does it get my attention? So, and is it sellable? Is it something that publishers are going to want? The market's going to want right now, and it might not be right now. It might be in 6 months. So the market's always moving and changing. So you got to look at that too, and find a good fit for it. So I'm learning what publishers do, what I'm learning what genres I'm going to take, be looking at too, because I gotta decide on that too, on the ones I'm going to be taking. So, but yeah, it's going to be fun. I think I'm good at it, and but just another ball to juggle.
You have juggled a few, so well. Yeah, it's hard for me to imagine because I'm not an avid reader. I've been sent some books and given some books, and I haven't cracked them yet. But for me, just finding quiet time. I'll put it this way: I can make the time. The problem is I can go sit in that chair over there that is normally used to take a nap, and I could read. The problem is my mind is on these monitors and these keyboards.
Oh, I know. I know.
How do you block out the world, and say, I want to do, because I think you owe that to a potential client, your best attention.
Yeah.
And gosh, I don't know.
I don't know.
Well,
I've only done it for 2 weeks or about a week and a half. So, but we're looking forward to it. It'll be fun. So,
you may need another week to get that down,
Yeah, I know. We got a lot going on this weekend, though. We got the Night to Shine event Friday night. We got Lamorris Crawford's a friend of mine. He's the Bengals chaplain. He's holding this marriage workshop at a local church here. We're going to be going to that Saturday night. Sophie's birthday is Saturday. So we got a full weekend, and then get ready for the North Carolina conference. In about a month, right?
I'm accelerating some things that I'll be sharing as soon as you step off the air. But yeah, we act on a deadline because a deadline acts on us, and so I'm trying to hurriedly put some things together. But Dale, thank you for sharing with us tonight, and please send word to your wife Angie just how moving. If you go to the chat room and read through what's been said. It will affirm that her words not only has Dee Dee's legacy impacted, but Angie's words about her legacy have made impact and that reverberate far beyond the ink on the paper. So thank you for sharing that, and let Angie know we appreciate it too.
Will do. See you next week.
All righty.
Thank you, everybody.
That was Del Didway. Folks, we are accelerating. I know we probably went a little extra. You all have been very patient and long-suffering. Thanks to all of you. Let me tell you, we are moving forward. I spent some time last night until about 2 in the morning and spent several hours today working on the PJNET.TV website. Please don't go there now. Please don't publish that address yet. It's going to happen, okay? Made substantial progress. It takes a long time in programming to get the dominoes lined up, and I've got a lot of them lined up, and boy, when we get ready, we'll push. Some things went very easy. I shared with you last night that we have ordered a banner that will go across the front of our desk so that when we travel, we will have a banner. It's got our new logo and our mission statement, which is providing a platform for everyday Christians to share their walk with Christ. I used to say ordinary Christians, but there's really no such thing. Okay, so I say everyday Christians. I have not placed the order for the lapel pins, and they will take 2 to 3 weeks, so I've got to get that done this week. We want to, any of our PJNet family, when we see each other, I want you to ask me for one of those. Tomorrow, Doug Carter will be receiving some accessories for his camera to assist him in bringing news and stories of his travels that you heard last night. So that'll be an upgrade for him. There's so much more. And things are going so well. Thank you all so much. For those of you who are here in our chat room, you're a big part of this. For those of you who pile on with support, now I'll wind it up in a minute. Just give me one more minute. It's hard to get an audience without content providers. Okay, you've got to have people like Dell, like Ben, like Doug, like Michelle, like JD. It's hard to attract an audience without content providers, but let me tell you something. It's hard to attract content providers without an audience. Let me repeat that. It's hard to attract good content providers without an audience. If you are here in our chat room, just being in that audience, folks, that's a major gallon of fuel in the tank. Okay? It's not insignificant. Your very presence here is an important part that fuels this ministry forward. And our mission is to provide a platform for everyday Christians to simply share their walk with Christ. I'll leave you with 2 questions. First, what is the boldest thing you've ever done for Christ? And second, when was that? My challenge is never be satisfied with either answer.